The red cedar tree was to our people the tree of life. It made the posts for our houses, and it made the cedar bark for clothing, and for our totem poles, for our canoes. So everything was made out of the red cedar.
Since about 1970, this forest that we're in was incorporated into Pacific Rim National Park. But for millennia before that, this was home to the Tla-o-qui-aht First Nation, and it sustained them with many important ecosystem services, such as the wild edible plants and medicines. It sustained the environmental quality of salmon streams, and the cedar wood provided an essential cultural resource. My name is Ira Sutherland. I'm a master's student at McGill University and a graduate research assistant at the University of British Columbia. And my thesis studies the benefits that are provided by forests and how long they would take to recover from logging. The goal of my research is to apply what's known as the ecosystem services approach. And it's a way to document, quantify, and understand the values provided by nature that sustain society. So one thing that I like about this approach is that it recognizes that there's different groups of people obtaining different benefits from nature. Forests sustain many communities around BC. In fact, some regions are entirely dependent on forestry. But cutting the forest down comes as a trade-off. When you cut a forest down, multiple other ecosystem services are negatively affected. So the way that we estimate ecosystem services is we arrive to the forest and we measure the structure of the forest. So the structure includes the size of the trees, the species of the trees, the height of the trees. It includes defects in the trees, also understory plants according to species and berry production and vigor, and also the logs on the ground, which of course store carbon and provide substrate as nurse logs for new trees to grow. And all these different structural features are indicators of different aspects of the benefits that the forest provides. One thing we have not been able to do very well in science is to estimate the value of the forest for traditional First Nations uses.
Uklas Tla-o-qui-aht is Tla-o-qui-aht Mahte Iwas Ukla Ut Hawith Nukmis. My name is Tla-o-qui-aht, my native name. I'm from Tla-o-qui-aht and the house of Iwas, and the chief of our house is my oldest brother named Nukmis. My English given name's Joseph Martin. I learned how to be a canoe carver since a very long time ago. My father, he was a fisherman, trapper, hunter, canoe builder. A lot of what we've been doing in the last few days really reminded me of my dad.
So Joe works on our team much the same as all of us. He's a field technician. He helps us measure the trees, the plants, but in particular, his specific role is to assess each large cedar tree and assess if it has potential cultural use.
We had laws that pertained to just harvesting wood. We're not allowed to just cut any old tree down. We had to be very aware of all the things around. When you find a tree, you gotta look all around it. Look at the roots. Get as far away from the tree as you can to look up at the top of it to see what's up there. And quite often it's really quiet there, so you can listen too. Our people were very spiritual in former days. They would give thanks to the Creator for allowing us to have this beautiful tree that's going to give life to our whole community, our whole house. And so, it was part of the laws that our people had to live by. The New Channel people have this saying, it's Hishuk-ish-tsawak. It means everything is one, everything is connected. When you look at the whole ecosystem of Vancouver Island, when it was totally intact, all the forests, the salmon stocks out here were incredible. But because of clear cutting and hauling logs right over these things, it disrupted all that stuff. That really affected a lot of the wildlife, all of it. Not only the salmon, the bears and all the creatures that lived there.
I think that this research is useful because for the past 150 years we've been cutting down forests in British Columbia. We don't really know exactly what we're doing to the different values that society has for forests, and we don't know how long they'll recover. So if the ecosystem services approach can help us understand the multiple values provided by forests like this one and help us plan how we manage these forests to sustain those values to all the different groups of people, then we'll be doing a better job at sharing the forest and sustaining it for future generations.
I think that it was a long time in coming that people began to recognize the importance of ecological knowledge of Indigenous people, and having this kind of thing in universities is a great thing. So this kind of work, I'm very happy to be doing this with you. It has been for me giving me a lot of hope for all of us. We all have to live here together. We all do. It's not only for me and my children, my family and so on, but we all have to live here together, and it's important. And so, thank you very much.